Good morning, everybody. I'm here at Vermilion. We just walked past the buildings. We're on the little trail. It's a beautiful, beautiful morning. I'm here with my older brother, Josh.
Good morning.
Remington is in school. He's going to be pissed that he found out I went to the beach. But we had some winds yesterday, and it's really windy today. We're going to see what we can find along the shore. I haven't done a windy beach hunt in years. This is the first time my older brother and I have gotten out by ourselves in a long time, so this is going to be a fun day. And just to see what kind of rocks there are, we will post any agates that we find. Well, we're down here on the beach. Right there. Just found this one. Doesn't have a lot of banding, but it's a solid agate. I just turned on the camera. It's pretty windy today, but we have first pick at the rocks. Lots of good rocks, lots of good waves. My brother's already found a handful of agates already. Should be a good day. We've got a family of plovers. It's pretty hard to see. Still haven't figured out how to... There we go. Zoom in. Fun to watch. I found a little guy, but it sure looks pretty in the camera. Oh, it's got some bands on the back too. Oh, that's pretty.
Oh wow, yeah, that's very good.
Found a nodule. Kind of hard to see in this light, but it's a nice one. Just found kind of a crappy agate. We'll see how good it is. Not bad. I'll put it in the pocket. Just found this one. I thought it was a piece of shirt from the back side, but it's got some nice bands on it. Nice size. We got some nice rocks up ahead, both in the wet and in the dry. So far, we've been hunting for an hour and a half and found a couple. Haven't found any super nice gems yet, but we're going to keep looking. Sure is a nice day to be on the beach. Sure is a lot of rock to look at. Oh, there's a glowing rock. Wow, that's not an agate. My brother just found a really pretty one. Got lots of colors, lots of patches of bands. Good size.
I like that patch.
That is awesome.
Look at that with your magnifying glass.
Awesome. Decided to film some of the rocks. Josh found that good one a few minutes ago. I haven't found one in quite some time yet. But it sure is a pretty day. have to look for. just found one. I don't know how good it is, but it's pretty. Mostly quartz. Yeah, not great, but it's an agate. I've thrown my first hole rock of the day. That one's perfect for a keychain. I love making keychains out of these. We got a couple more little birds. We're on the final point. We're gonna hunt this patch and then turn around and go back. Yeah, we got these neat little birds following us. Well, good morning, everybody. My brother and I made it back. I guess if you're watching this video, you went out with us and came along, and you're probably back now too. I wanted to show you some of the finds of the day. As usual, my camera died only halfway into our trip. I'm actually working on getting a battery pack or something that I can keep the phone going the entire trip so you can see all the finds that we find. But thank you for bearing with me while I'm new at making this channel, but I'm going to show you some stuff that we found on the beach. This first thing you're looking at is a water wash brick that came all the way east from Chris Point Lighthouse. It was a building attached to the lighthouse that got smashed by the waves. The bricks got scattered around the beach, and they kind of migrate down the beach to the east, and I found several at Vermilion. This is one of the nicest ones that I found because it's intact. It's quite a bit smaller. It has a lot of erosion on it. That's pretty cool. I don't usually bring home the bricks, but I really like that piece. I found 3 Omaralux, 2 with holes, 1 with a bullseye that I'm using to display a small agate. This agate is the one you guys saw in the earlier video. It is my tiniest skipping atom that I've ever found, and I'm showing it today because later in the hike I found the largest skipping atom I've ever seen or found. It is absolutely gorgeous. The color, the clarity, it's amazing. All the other ones that I've found in the years have been an ounce or 2 ounces most, other than that little teeny tiny one. I weighed this. It is just just a hair under 8 ounces. It's almost a half pounder. It was definitely the find of the day. I'm super excited about it. When I saw it, there was just a little bit of banding exposed like that. It was in the rocks that are down by the waves. Waves were crashing over it. I started hooting and hollering to my brother that I found a skipping atom, and then when I pulled it out of the rocks, it was just huge. That was super exciting to find. Definitely the best find for me in a long time. This is in a magnetite, and Rob from Michigan Rocks has actually identified this particular rock in one of my earlier videos, and so now I know what they are, and now I collect them. This is one that I found on this trip. It's got a seam running through it, which I have not seen. It's almost agate material that's in that seam, but that's one of the magnetites that I found and kept. This, I've been told by a couple different people. Some people think that it is moss agate. Let's see if I can get a close-up. Other people have called it Mary Ellen Jasper. It looks like it has a lot of plant matter or something in it. It's an absolutely beautiful jasper agate, whatever it is. I was super happy to find it. I think it weighs about 6 ounces. My brother has a piece of Mary Ellen Jasper that's like a half an ounce, so he was very impressed that I found this. The biggest thing that I found on this trip, even bigger than my 8-ounce skipping atom, is this. Okay, so what you're looking at is a solid agate. It doesn't have much in the way of banding. It's got a lot of quartz or sugar agate. Let's see if I can get this to come out. There we go. It does have a little bit of lace banding on it. It's got some almost eyes on it. Again, 15 ounces, that's huge. And it is a solid agate. It just doesn't have a lot to show. I think I'm going to see if I can have Agate Dad or somebody else cut it in half and see what might be exposed. Normally I wouldn't ever cut a big agate, but because it's not super showy, I may take the gamble and have this one cut. I have a couple other things to show, not from this trip. Right here, you're looking at a banded chert. Now this is the finest banded chert that I've ever found. It's got clarity to it. It's got some translucence to it. It was actually sitting in my rock garden, my pitch agate pit, for years. And my older brother was over here the other day, and I was inside for a second, and he came running inside and showed me this and said, "Why the heck do you have this in your pitch agate pit? This is a huge agate." I said, "Well, because it's banded chert." And he says, "No way, this is an agate." He says, "I'd bet you $20 that this is a huge banded agate." And I said, "Well, I'll take that bet. I'm pretty sure it's chert." So we've got to have somebody that knows a little bit more about agates than either Josh or I give us their opinion. I think I'm going to win the bet. It is gorgeous. Like I said, it's the finest banded chert I've ever found, but I believe it's banded chert. Okay, this little agate has a super special story. This is an actual gravel pit agate, Lake Superior agate, but the unusual thing about it, it didn't come from Wisconsin or Minnesota. It came from the gravel pit here in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Now, I've been told that our gravel over this far to the east does not have agate in it, and I have gone to this gravel pit with permission and hunted their piles of rocks for hours and have never found so much as a shard of an agate. This was found at Project Playground in Sault Ste. Marie. There's a gravel parking lot outside of the playground, and Remington and I were leaving the playground and heading up to the truck, and he said, "Hey Dad, can we find agates in this gravel on the road?" I said, "No, Remington, we don't have agates in our gravel. Sorry to say, you won't find an agate here." Well, he reached down, picked this up, and said, "Well, isn't this an agate?" Well, it was. This is the only agate we have ever found in the city limits of Sault Ste. Marie. This agate is another kind of a neat find. I take the family and go to Point Iroquois Lighthouse quite often. We go there to swim and play in the rocks, and people do find some small agates there. I've only found ones like the size of my thumbnail, but I went there with my brother Josh about a week or two before this trip that I'm filming, and we were looking. He wanted to find an agate there, and he was up in the dry, I was in the wet, and I kept telling him there's only small agates here. Well, we ended up switching. I went up to the dry and he went to the wet. And as soon as I went up to the dry, I found this honker. It is a solid agate. I haven't weighed it, but it's got to be 3.5 ounces. Let's see if I can get this in here. It's got a little bit of banding. It's pretty rough. It kind of looks like a gravel pit agate, but there is some banding in it. It's pretty unusual. It is a kind of a nodule, but just to find it at Point Iroquois Lighthouse, I was pretty impressed. Oh, and then this piece of driftwood is one that I found on the beach this trip, and it's about 7 feet long. It's an old 1 by 12 by 7 foot long board. It had been rolling around in the lake for many years. It's kind of different colors right now. I started sanding this half and then got to about here. I'm either going to cut it in half or just make a big sign out of it, do a wood burn sign out of it. It's the coolest single board I've ever found as a beach driftwood find. And then the last thing I'm going to show you is not an agate, but you guys know that I like my wood. This is a hand-carved burl pipe that I carved. I carved this and made it into a pipe for my dad, who liked to smoke a good pipe. The cool thing about this, this burl here looks like a morel mushroom. At least it did to me. I was down in Gaylord, where my wife's family is from. I was looking for morels, hadn't found any yet, and then this thing was just poking out of the leaves like that, and I thought I had my first morel. I grabbed it, and up comes this big old stick. So I was disappointed that it wasn't a morel, but being a burl on a stick, I thought I could make that into a pipe. So I'm pretty happy with that find. Just thought I'd show you that. Anyway, thanks for coming along on this last beach hike. Hopefully soon I'll have my videos sideways. I'm going out to the beach coming up here soon with my brother, and I'm going to start filming sideways. And hopefully the videos will be easier for you guys to view. But thank you for watching this video. Thank you for coming to our rock hounding channel, Upper Peninsula Beautiful. Have a great day.